My guest at this time is one of the hottest Rudos in the world who can now be seen as part of Heroes of Lucha Libre on Crackle. It is Sam Adonis. Sam, welcome back to the Daily.
Thank you for having me once again. I've established quite the rapport with Wrestling Inc. recently. I was actually doing a watch-along podcast with you guys, so some of the listeners and viewers might recognize me from that. Yeah. But if they don't, it's pretty exciting to finally be able to say you can catch me on worldwide internet pay-per-view or whatever you want to call it on Crackle TV, Heroes of Lucha Libre.
You know, and that's the thing is, first of all, I'm a big Crackle fan because Crackle is also the home of The Critic, which is the greatest cartoon show of all time. And, but yeah, now also the home of you. And you're right, you've done some stuff here with Wrestling Inc., but you're in my court now. I'm the news guy. I'm the grind guy, right? And you're part of the news here, Sam. You're part of the show. And I've been watching this show today. I like it. I think I'm in. I think I'm gonna have to finish watching this series here. Before we get to, we can talk about the pandemic and everything else and all that, but talk to me about Heroes of Lucha Libre. How did you get involved with this show? What's going on here?
Heroes of Lucha Libre is a project that's been in the works for basically about 2 years now. I was still living in Mexico City, working for CMLL full time when I received a booking through a friend of mine. It says, we're in LA, Los Angeles. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. It was just going to be another small independent lucha show. And as the details started coming in, everything about it was blowing our minds. Where's this show at? Oh, it's at the US Bank Arena. What? Who's this? Here's what you're getting paid. What? I mean, all these borderline red flags, the too good to be true red flags. And we're like, okay, well, we'll believe it when I see it. And the next thing you know, the very first TV taping we got there, and as you can see by the TV program, the production is absolutely outstanding.
It is.
I would hold their production value as high, if not better than, the WWE or AEW, New Japan. It's a big money production, and it's absolutely amazing. They've packed these arenas. They've filmed some of the most unique content anywhere. And it's really cool because a lot of the American wrestling fans don't know where to look to find modern lucha libre. And this is just another avenue, another opportunity for some great talent to be out there, to be seen, as well as provide alternative content to American wrestling fans.
Now, here's the thing. You're right about all that. The production is slick. It is very easy to watch. I will put it that way. It's akin. I'm a big BattleBots fan. I'm also a big Battle Dome fan. It's got kind of this clean, colorful appeal to it. And it's not, because I guess the last lucha show that was real popular in the United States would have been Lucha Underground, right? This is kind of some elements of that, but it's much brighter. It's not as dark and gritty, I feel like, as Lucha Underground, right?
The very first meeting we had with the production staff, with the owners and whatnot, they presented us with a very simple formula. They told us they're not trying to compete with a wrestling company. They're not trying to compete with WWE, New Japan, or AEW. They're trying to compete with Marvel or Ninja Turtles or with Power Rangers. They want to be a very unique new product that's going to captivate children. And as of right now, it's going so well on the Crackle platform. The response has been through the roof, and it's really it's going in the direction they've set out to go as far as creating a new wrestling fan. I don't know if this would necessarily be if you're looking for 5-star wrestling matches, you're probably going to want to stick with New Japan and AEW. If you're looking for something that hits you in the feels, something that reminds you of being a kid and losing yourself into a storyline or a character, this is it. And honestly, I'm a big fan of that in my career and what I try to portray. And it's awesome now to see that being, come to life here in the United States, a product that is a little bit more in the realm of a comic book or a cartoon instead of in the traditional lines of pro wrestling.
Yeah, dude, and there's actual comic book allusions and stuff here, right? You see the pages flipping, you see cells and things so just slow it down here a little bit. Explain what the world of Heroes of Lucha Libre is to everyone, because this is not just this isn't like Monday Night Raw where you're going to tune in, you're going to get what you're going to get. It's going to be a grab bag of different weird segments. There's a whole world that has been created here with Heroes of Lucha Libre.
That's exactly right. And that's what I think is something fun as far as, they're creating a new concept of storyline. Instead of just saying, this guy's mad at this guy for this reason, they've devised an entire scheme of a you win coins with each match. Each match represents their separate island in a fictional world. And it's honestly, if you're into it for wrestling and you want to see it and you want to critique it, you're going to find a million things to critique it on, because that's not what you're going for. We're trying to go for something that's completely different. And I think right now, considering it's been so far, I think a lot of people will really get behind it, because you almost can't critique it because it hasn't been done. The ideas are so far out of left field, and they explain it to you as the events unfold. And I think it's just something completely different. And I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I can hear it in your voice. And like, that's the thing is, when we say it's really different, in this whole universe, I mean, like, we're talking, there is this island, or islands, right? The Rudos have an island, the Technicos have an island, right? Kind of stuff. But then there's these like rings. It's not like title belts. These rings that all represent it, kind of like Captain Planet in a way, is what I was thinking.
I could almost equate it a bit to like the Avengers and the Infinity Stones.
Sure.
All these teams are on a conquest to collect the rings, and whoever has the rings have the power, and each win and loss counts. Again, if you want to really, if you can get yourself into it enough, you'd be better off comparing it to the Avengers than you would be comparing it to wrestling, because it really is more in that Marvel realm. And, the nice thing is, most of us in wrestling, we're all big nerds and love that stuff anyway. Yeah. Most wrestling fans really get into their comic books and whatnot. So it's just a complete different avenue. And the nice thing about them, they're not trying to step on anybody's toes. They're not trying to, steal this demographic. They're not trying to go out and outshine WWE or AEW, Impact, New Japan, anything. They're trying to create a completely different alternative. And like I said, the beauty of it is it's almost more or less marketed to a non-wrestling fan. They want the kids that are at home, flipping through the channels or on Crackle, somebody that has never seen wrestling or maybe doesn't like wrestling. They see the colorful masks and the amazing production and presentation, and they could say, I don't really like wrestling, but I'll check this out.
Yeah.
And it's so different. I think that could honestly captivate that new, fresh fan base.
Well, and it's not just like that it's like an episodic serial type show either. And I don't want to like sound like I'm shilling this like too hard or anything. I'm an objective journalist here. I'm just taking what I've been given here, right? And talking about it. But like the actual matches themselves are not like one fall to a finish. You want to talk a little bit about how the way a match is won in the world of Heroes of Lucha Libre?
Well, the beauty of it is there is still the essence of Heroes of Lucha Libre is the classic Mexican Lucha Libre. And in Mexico, a vast majority of the matches are 6-man tag team matches, where they're 2 out of 3 falls. The 2 out of 3 falls could be won by pinning either the captain of each team or 2 of his subordinates, if you will.
Yes.
So honestly, it's quite confusing for a traditional wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I know my family. I mean, my father's a promoter my whole life, and my mom has been around wrestling. When they came to Mexico to see me, it kind of gets you, because wait, he won this time, and why did they pin twice last fall and this time once? It can get kind of confusing, but that's the beauty of it. And you just got to be objective about it, and you have to open your eyes and see what's coming, because if they're spoon feeding the audience, and it's so different that if you start with episode 1 and just follow it like an 11 episode series as it is, as opposed to watching it, from a critique standpoint, as an expert standpoint, and comparing it to other shows. Sure. I mean, I really believe there's legs in this, and I really hope it goes somewhere.
So is it easier or harder for you to tell stories as a wrestler when you're doing a 1 fall to a finish, or when you're doing so many like of these 2 out of 3 falls, which you enjoy putting together more?
I think there's, it's different depending on your audience. I think, the really good performers don't necessarily need to rely on the actual story of the match as much as it's their character, the story of the character that's coming out. And, I think that's something that these luchadors do very well. Is yes, there is, these stories in the match or on the TV show, but at the end of the day, we're live action comic book heroes. And, you don't need to read every episode of Spider-Man to know about Spider-Man. you could buy, comic number 46 and then skip to comic 272, and you're still going to enjoy that comic because of Spider-Man. And that's kind of, I think, what the concept they're going for is putting more stock into each individual as a character, as a storyteller, and the matches and the storyline that you follow along on the TV. It's just kind of the guidelines to get you through the character in the comic book.
For sure. And I'm only on episode 2 right now, so I've only seen your first match. I know you're around later in the season as well. But like what I've seen here is you are paired with someone called the Russian Hacker, right? And of course you're Sam Adonis, come out waving that American flag with Donald Trump's face on it. A lot of heat in Mexico, I'm sure. I was just it was surprising to me because it is so like kid friendly and like colorful, and here you are doing kind of this adult political story. Like, talk to me a little about like you and your role in the story you're telling this season. Part of it.
I had no input on my character. I had no input on any of that. I was, a top draw in Mexico as a heel.
Right.
And the basis of this luchador program, is for a highly Hispanic demographic. It's in Southern California. So I was just brought in to do my job. I just brought in and I, did my character, and I asked the same question. You really want me to have the flag? And they're like, yep, just do your thing. So they haven't really altered the in-ring product that much. They've almost just re-edited it and added a presentation that's completely out of left field. Yeah. So my character, it's I just being a heel, do what I'm doing, winding people up. But I think it's kind of cool that, it's just a completely different, unique way to look at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Russian Hacker, it is. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of the fact it's a testament to myself that, my character is very over the top and comic book, related as it is.
Yeah.
I don't really want people. I like people to suspend their disbelief and see me, as a crazy guy that you're not going to see on the street or in your next door neighbor's house, so if that's why they chose me, I'm cool with that. But yeah, it's definitely been fun hearing all the feedback on it.
Yeah, I mean, they took what you did. They literally gave you a masked Russian hacker. I was like, is this MSNBC? What am I watching right now? Like,
well, it's funny because I'm actually the only non-masked wrestler on the program, or non-masked American. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me think. I don't know how many actual Americans have been on these shows. So it's been kind of fun because I've been here, I've been helping them with a lot of press. And as far as the American media goes, I'm one of the only guys, having these spots. And it's almost, I think it's something cool because it came out of left field. Nobody heard anything about it for the last 2 years of production and how it's been going. And now all of a sudden it's, holy cow, what is this?
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere. And I think, we've all put the work in to make sure that it does turn into something special. So I highly advise everybody to download Crackle as soon as they get off this podcast and watch all 11 episodes of Heroes of Lucha Libre absolutely for free. You don't even need to create an account.
Yep. Yeah, no, I have a smart TV, so it's just a channel. I just hit a button and it's there for me. So easy to access for sure.
Well, the fun thing is, I think because of the pandemic right now, everybody has a little free time, and there's very little new content coming out with a crowd, and that's kind of something we have on our it's kind of in our favor because yes, this is this were taped before the pandemic, but there's just a freshness to it that we've been missing for a while, and I think people that just have missed that energy and excitement. It's something they can tune in and see, and it's just gonna kind of, I hope, make them, feel like it's, like I said, I want them to feel the nostalgia of being a kid, eating your cereal at 11 a.m. on a Saturday, watching Superstars from '85. That's the feeling that I think the wrestling fans will get out of this. And maybe, if the wrestling fans have a kid that isn't the biggest wrestling fan, this might be the way to get that non-fan into pro wrestling.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with that. One of the first characters I got to see on this show that like grabbed me immediately, mini Rey Mysterio. Sam, how is that possible to have someone that looks, acts, dresses, everything that is Rey Mysterio? Like, what's going on here?
I think, I don't know, you can't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Mini Rey Mysterio owns the right to his gimmick through,
Okay.
through Rey Mysterio, whether it's senior or junior. There's legal, all this stuff's, paperwork and all this. These guys are above board and professional. They're not going to put out a product that's going to get them in trouble. But Rey Mysterio Jr. is actually on one of the later episodes
Really?
as
Oh,
he's signed to WWE right here today.
wow.
So again, the film releases have been signed years in the past. It's all legal. It's I'm not the guy you have to ask about that, but I'm
No,
pretty sure
really?
everything.
Huh.
I don't think they'd put anything out there that could get them in any legal troubles.
No, first of all, I didn't know Ray was going to be a part of it. That's awesome. I will be watching this. But
There's another issue that's pretty controversial. Is this certain episodes feature CMLL wrestlers and AAA wrestlers, and this is one of the only places you'll see that. I don't know how they could pull this off and whatnot, but it's awesome because you'll never be able to see a AAA wrestler on the same TV show as a CMLL wrestlers, but these guys have pulled it off. So it's groundbreaking, it's different, and it's something fun. I'm really happy it's out there finally, and again, it's just up to the people that whether you like it or not. All I could ask is for people to give it a go, check it out. If it's not for you, there's plenty of good wrestling out there. But if you don't give it a chance, then you could be missing out on something special.
so is the plan here to then hopefully get another season, or is this something that you and the crew would like to become like a weekly thing? Like what's the long term? What are you hoping comes of Heroes of Lucha?
I would love for there to be a season. I'd love it to be full time. They'd again, it's been so long in the past. I don't know what their end game is, but they have the capabilities of live wrestling shows at a large capacity. Like I said, the first three shows were filmed at the US Bank Arena in Ontario, California, and at the Gallon Center in downtown Los Angeles. So these are two 10,000 seat arenas, and both shows had over 6,000 people or all three shows had over 6,000 people. So for I guess by definition, this would be considered an independent group. It's independent of WWE, TNA, and Impact. If an independent has the resources to pull something like that off in the beginning, I'd like to think they're capable of doing a lot of great things.
Yeah, man. Well, let's talk about the business at the moment here. Yeah, how are you feeling going into the winter, man? Like, I feel like the indies are just kind of going dark. Like everything seems to be turning off the lights right now.
It's absolutely heartbreaking and really sad for me. This is the first time in my life that I don't feel like I'm in control of my destiny. I've been very blessed and lucky. At 21, I signed with WWE. Then I worked in England for 4 years, then Mexico for 2 years, many tours to Japan. I've always kind of been, planting seeds for 6 months from now. That's how I've been able to, make my opportunities in wrestling. Right now, there's no garden to plant a seed in. So, I continue working for Amazon driving. It's, heartbreaking, but I'm lucky enough to have a job. And it's curious. It's kind of amazing to think about how the world can be flipped upside down like that. And, all I can hope is that everybody stays safe and, we continue to do our best and try to get this beyond us because, it makes you realize how important the live event is to the wrestling world. And it just kind of makes me think I've taken it for granted for all this long, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make the most of it going forward.
Yeah, how about the other companies in the States? You talking to anybody? I'm surprised, honestly. I haven't seen you on like AEW Dark. I feel like you're above board more than capable being on.
I've talked to plenty of people. Again, I'm an old man, I guess. I've done a lot of traveling and put a lot of work in, and I'm looking for something full time and just trying to get what I can. I've put a lot of work in, and I think one day in the future I will be able to attain something. But again, without the opportunity, without the chance to be seen every week, you kind of blend into the shuffle a little bit. And without these shows, I'm not the only guy that you saw every week that you're not seeing it all right now.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm just blessed. I have a job, I'm able to work and put food on the table, with my new puppy dog. And I'm just doing what I can. And I know we will bounce back. I will, I still believe my best days are ahead of me. But as far as, other companies, I haven't been able to reach an agreement with anybody just yet.
All right. Well, Heroes of Lucha Libre, it is out now. So, like, people can go see you. It is on Crackle. It is free. Anything else you want to plug, promote, put over here before we wrap up the interview today, Sam?
I mean, I just appreciate everybody being out there, staying so supportive of, not just me, but all the independent wrestlers. We do this because we love it, but we also wouldn't be able to do it without the people that support it. So, keep trucking on, keep supporting anybody you can, local wrestlers, whether it's, your small town independent or it's an AEW, WWE, Impact, anybody you can. Just keep loving wrestling and keep putting the work in to support it. And I think the wrestling business will bounce back strong, and I will be a part of it. So if you want to track me down, my social media, it's at Real Sam Adonis on Instagram and Twitter. You can send me a message and say what's up, and you can see all my upcoming events and my debut on Heroes of Lucha Libre on Crackle TV.